Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton, a narcoleptic comedian, and this is the podcast where I interview people in my bed and we talk about sleep, comedy, and relationships. This week I interviewed comedian Ken Garr. Ken and I had an awesome conversation. We talked about narcolepsy, sexsomnia, insomnia, and restless leg syndrome in terms of the sleep stuff. Talked about lots of that. We talked about the importance of prioritizing comedy if you are also in a relationship. He also gives some awesome advice to anyone trying to move up in the clubs here in LA, so check on that and find out which game show it would be Ken's dream to host one day. You can follow Ken on Instagram and Twitter at Ken Garr Was Taken. That's KenGarr was taken, spelled out. Ken also has a few shows coming up. He's performing at the Hollywood Improv Lab this Saturday at midnight, as well as he hosts the open mic on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. in the Improv Lab. He also will be doing CG's Comedy Club on July 19th and 20th in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Check out his podcast, That's Fucked Up, on iTunes. And he also hosts a show, Kim and Ken Show, on Dash Radio, Mondays, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. So be sure to check all those things out because Ken is awesome. Sleeping with Sarah is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah to get a free audiobook of your choice. This week, I'd like to recommend Calypso by David Sedaris. Again, that's audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. If you like this podcast, please rate and review. I cannot tell you how much that this helps. This little step that takes you just 30 seconds to do helps out the podcast. So please rate and review wherever you listen to the show, whether it's iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, any of those places. That would be so awesome. You can also keep up with me and my stuff that I'm doing at Sarah Albritton on Instagram and Twitter. Well, let's get started with the show. Sleeping with Sarah. Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm here with my guest, Ken Garr.
Hi.
How'd you sleep last night, Ken?
I slept great. I actually slept in my bed last night. So.
Do you usually not sleep in your bed?
Well, between going on the road and I was dog sitting for a friend for the last week. Mm-hmm. So she's well off. So her bed's great, but nothing beats your own bed.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, unless you have a not comfortable bed, I would say.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I think that's the one thing I'll spend money on is a comfortable bed.
Yes, I mailed this mattress from Chicago.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, because I was I can't. And I'm so thankful because I did not sleep in my own bed last night and it was not as comfortable. My back kind of hurts.
Yeah.
It's just
throws you a little off.
Yeah, you're people, if you don't have a comfy bed, at least be good at massages or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll always spend probably the most money on the mattresses, more so than anything else in the bedroom. Now, are you on your side of the bed that you sleep on?
Well, when I'm alone, I just sprawl.
Your middle?
Oh yeah, I sprawl.
That's so crazy.
I do lots of weird stuff, and I basically take over the bed and push whoever I'm with almost at the edge.
Yeah.
It's so bad. I get complaints about that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
They deal with it.
I still sleep on my whatever is perceived side of the bed.
Yeah.
And
what side is yours?
It's closest to the door. I would I would probably sleep on that side. I sleep on the left side.
Closest to the door?
Yeah. For escape. Get out. But no, I sleep on the left side, but that in my room is closest to the door.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, no, for me it can vary depending on the person, I guess. I don't care exactly.
So it's their preference?
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not I
but you're not I'm not this is my side.
No, I'm not someone that is I don't want this to be a symbol of oh, this is how I handle conflict. I just let them win. That's not my thing.
Right.
I just think that out of everything, that doesn't matter because I can sleep anywhere.
Well, some people are yeah, this is my side.
No, yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't have a side, but I wonder if it is a weird conversation if people that were used to the same side had to argue about it at the beginning of a relationship. Is that a talk you had to have?
Yeah, I think it's just I think same thing in restaurants. I prefer to face the door, but I'm not it's not a deal breaker. It's I don't have to, but it's just I don't know what it is.
Wait, is it just like a safety thing? I feel like you just like to be close to doors.
I do. Yeah. I need an escape. So
do you hate it at a comedy club where you know you can't leave like Zanies because the door is right by the stage?
Oh, it's a nightmare. Yeah. Yeah. I come from 3 generations of firefighters. So every time I walk into a room, I'm assessing like where my exit is.
You're like Jason Bourne, but a firefighter.
Yeah,
You're
pretty much.
This is the chance that this building is going to catch on fire.
Yeah.
These are the 3 exits. This is how I need to jump out of this window. Can I break this glass? Maybe.
Like I can't have anything going from my bed to my bedroom door. There can't be anything on the ground.
Oh, gotcha.
Because my dad's like, oh, people trip all the time and die. That's what happens. They trip over shoes, they hit their head, and now they
Your childhood sounds fun.
Well, I used to go into burning buildings with my dad.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah. Like when I was like 10, 11, 12, all the way into my teenage years.
They would let you?
Oh, yeah. Because he was the captain on the fire department. So he would you'd bring your kid, and you would drive in the rig to the fire, and then I'd have all the equipment, and I would go in and fight fires with my dad.
That's pretty badass, actually.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I don't know.
Like, kids would be like, I got a new Tonka truck. I'm like, I was in a Tonka truck.
I was in a burning building.
Yeah, they would put us up. And my dad was in Cabrini Green projects.
Oh, yeah. I remember when that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Chicago.
I
remember them tearing it down. That's
yeah. Yeah, but he was there when it was like the projects.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It is so different now.
Oh, yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, I remember when that neighborhood changed because they put a Blockbuster video up, and I'm like, what are they doing? Like, we couldn't even, like, there was, like, a park next to my dad's firehouse on Division and Larrabee in Chicago, and on the fence, like, these lilacs grew, and my mom would, like, literally pick the lilacs, and my dad would come out of the firehouse and be like, get in the car. What are you doing? Like, get out of here. Because my mom's like, I don't know. We're just picking lilacs. He's like, you're in Cabrini Green. Get out of here, you know? But he had, like, bullet holes in his windows, his bedroom windows.
So it was real dangerous.
Oh, it was the most dangerous neighborhood in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what year? Was this, like, the 90s? 80s?
Yeah, the 90s, yeah. And, we would go into the projects, and a lot of times the kids in the project would throw matchbooks down the garbage chutes. And so the garbage chutes would catch fire, and then you'd have to like go up to where the fire was and then stick a hose down the fire chute. And that's what we did.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I was living in an apartment building in Chicago where so I was in Lakeview, and there's this arson bandit guy. I don't know. He was like, thought he was cool. So he would set fire to people's garbage, like the big garbage cans in the apartments.
Yeah.
And they've been happening like in streets nearby mine. One day I come home from like a comedy thing. It was like 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. I come home and there's like a fire truck in front of our apartment because somebody had set fire to our trash cans. But thankfully, because a lot of the people in the building stayed up late and were drunks and whatever, they came home late. They saw. Yeah. They saw it like shortly after it happened. But like some people had their shit destroyed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they just there's arsonists out there. It's weird.
That's like a thing people do. So, did your family feel weird about you not continuing the generation of firefighting?
No, because, basically in Chicago, they only have a test every 10 years. So I was 17 when the first test came out.
So you're 1 year...
I was 1 year shy of, being able to take it. And then by the time the second test came out, I was 27 and I had already started.
They only take a test every 10 years?
Yeah, because 50,000 people come out and take the test. I mean, it's such a good job. That people, tons of people want to...
So that they'll be on the list.
Yeah. So the list lasts 10 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I guess...
That worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for
Plus, I didn't like fighting fires. I did not like it.
You did not? Yeah. It's kind of scary, right?
It's just that, the smoke, you wear masks and stuff now, but, once that smoke hits your eyes, you're just, you can't, you can't be like... It's all good. No, you're tearing up. You know what I mean? And you get used to it eventually, but it wasn't for me. I walked in my first burning building and I was just like, we're going to college. We're not going to do this.
Yeah.
So, and they were fine with it. They didn't care. My brother's a firefighter and my other brother's a paramedic.
Oh, so it's still continuing.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my cousins is a firefighter EMT for City of Atlanta. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but he's been doing that for 20 plus years, a long time,
If I had fallen into it, I would have, I'd been happy. It would have been fine, but I just didn't. Yeah, it wasn't like I had a calling or anything.
So, after, deciding not to do firefighting, where'd you go to school?
Went to the University of Iowa.
Iowa? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And did you start stand-up there? Or
No, I didn't start stand-up until I was like 26.
Yeah.
And I saw my friend Denise do it one day at a local comedy club. She told me she'd started doing stand-up, and I was always like interested in it. And I started doing improv at Second City.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always, like, I was in plays in high school. And so I was always performing in some way. And then my friend Denise said she was going to be at a comedy club, so I went and checked it out. And I was like, I can do this.
Which club?
It was called Barrel of Laughs in Oak Lawn, Illinois.
Okay.
So in the southwest suburbs.
I don't remember ever.
Yeah. So so it was like, it'd been there for 35 years. It was like the longest running show in the Midwest. And a lot of guys went through there. Like Judy Tenuta got her start there, Emo Phillips.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that they got their starts there.
Yeah.
So wait, was it older than Zanies then?
I think it came out right around the same time. Yeah. So they were like, there was a whole big boom obviously in the 80s, but there were like 7 or 8 major clubs in Chicago at one time. Like Catch a Rising Star, there was an Improv, there was Zanies, there was the Barrel of Laughs.
Like, this is all in city proper or no?
Well, yeah, in the city. It's all within
there was an Improv in
like
the
all
city?
Where
was the Improv?
It was near the Zanies downtown.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In Old Town. Huh.
And then there was a Catch a Rising Star was out there. There were tons like in the 80s. Like they couldn't even, like every show was sold out. I mean, it was like there was a huge boom in the 80s for comedy. And then cable television came.
And that's the Netflix.
And that was it. You can stay home and watch it.
It's so not the same though. Like people don't get that haven't ever seen it live.
Live,
It's so different. You know, you can feel the energy.
I was supposed to do a photo shoot tomorrow, and the photographer clearly had never done comedy because they're like, all right, well, if like just bring something that'll make you comfortable, like a rubber chicken or a whoopee cushion. I go, have you ever seen comedy? Have you listened to my show? Like it's for the radio show we do, but like I was like, do you have any idea like? Who do you think I am? Like a Jewish vaudevillian comedian from like the 30s? Like it was the weirdest thing. I was like, we're not using this photographer.
Oh man. Well, hey, you gotta have someone that's gonna get you because
or at least gets like comedy what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
A rubber chicken.
That's like cheesy 80s comedy. That's like someone you wouldn't even want to see. That's
and I was a little worried because our first suggestion was like, well, bring a sports jersey. I'm like, I don't do a sports show. Like, what are we talking about here?
So you clearly had no idea.
No, none.
I kind of find it impossible to live in a big city and not have any concept of comedy.
Right.
That drives...
Right,
How can you live in one of the 3 biggest cities in the country and not have at least an inkling or understanding of how comedy works?
Right. Yeah. I get it all the time because I'm on the road and people are like...
Now, in middle of nowhere, Indiana,
yeah.
Kentucky, where I'm from, you know, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But... and maybe that's just me being naive that, some people just aren't as into it as I am.
Yeah. But I still get this, like... I had a buddy, I was out... He's from Chicago, but we were both going to be in Arizona at the same time. He's like, I'm going to come out and see your show. And I was like, okay. And then he showed up like with his buddies and he was super drunk. And I'm like, why is he so drunk? And he's like, oh, he's nervous because he thinks that you're going to make fun of him. I go, does he know how, like, I don't want to talk to him at all. And then like, he had like all these heckles prepared and then like started heckling the opener. I'm like, and I walked up and I go, shut up. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, and they're always, every heckler, I was just trying to help you. I was trying to like just be quiet, just sit down and enjoy the show.
God, that's so embarrassing.
But they get this in their head. They're like, the show's about me. I'm gonna help the show.
Oh yeah, and it's always like a white dude usually, right?
Oh yeah. It's like you can't talk. Yeah, you know what I mean? No. Black people just repeat your jokes.
Just jokes and notes, because at least they're way more vocal about it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a totally different type of...
Right.
And so...
That's like instant feedback.
Yeah.
You know, you have a joke that doesn't hit. They're like, no.
Yeah. But
next.
I almost wonder if that's almost better than just the silent... Seeing somebody... I'm sorry. Isn't it horrible that I kind of love watching somebody bomb for like their first time?
It's
or
a little
like
sick, yeah.
That's fucked up.
A little masochistic, yeah.
Well, Yeah, I didn't say it was perfect.
Like, oh, it's my first time. You're just like, yes.
No, I don't say anything. I appear like I feel bad for the person, but inside I'm like, oh, like I'm seeing them try to figure out what's happening. Did you bomb
your first time?
No, I did not.
You did well?
No, I didn't do well. The thing is, I come from improv and sketch and doing that consistently for a while.
Yeah.
And I had written I knew how to write because I'd written sketch and that sort of thing. So I had written some things out. And I got a couple of laughs, but I was like, oh, that sucked. Because I was used to getting regular, like, every punchline hitting, at sketch shows.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like, this wasn't that good. But then somebody else, it was Alex Selkson, was at my first time doing it. She talked to me afterwards. She's like, no, you should do this again. And Ashley Corby, who now lives in Nashville. Yeah, but I definitely did bomb, like, after that for sure.
Yeah.
You do that. But the first time I got a couple laughs, but in my head, that was like, to me, that was bombing. Because it was like, I didn't get a laugh at every punchline.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, that's I'm going to have to sit up because my back.
Yeah.
But.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, beds I was thinking about this. I'm like, beds are really uncomfortable unless you're lying down in them. You know what I'm saying? Like, to just sit in a bed?
Huh.
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't think about that. I guess that's why you have so many pillows.
Well, because, like, I have to have, like, no, it's fine. But you don't have any back support. You're just sitting in a bed, and you're just like, unless I'm lying down, like, these aren't great.
Well, you can lie all the way down if you want.
I blew your mind away.
I know, man.
I'm a mover. Like, I move a lot in bed. I think it drives girls nuts.
Oh, I do, too. So I have this problem that I keep waking somebody up, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like, I have narcolepsy. You knew this going into this, you know? Like, I'm not.
What's narcolepsy then?
It's where you sleep a lot. It's like a sleeping disorder.
Oh,
it's like that's what yeah.
You have that?
Yeah. I've got that's a lot of the theme of the podcast is like I've got weird sleep stuff. I figure a lot of creative people do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I take medicine to stay awake, and then I take medicine at night to stop like hallucinations and the falling down.
What causes narcolepsy?
It's a lack of hypocretin or orexin in the brain, which is a chemical. Yeah. And that brain communicates that you've had enough sleep, to your body. It's also the same chemical that communicates that you've had enough food, which is why a lot of narcoleptics are overweight.
Okay.
And also, a couple other things like arousal and that sort of thing. But it just tells your body that you've had enough of those things. And so for a lot of narcoleptics, it's hard because your body, you don't know that you've had enough sleep. I could sleep for 7 hours or 17 hours, and I wake up still feeling like you might feel if you were up for 2 or 3 days straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, if it's if it is a lack of a chemical, can they just give you the chemical? Is it something they can reproduce, or is there medicine for it?
I mean, it's in the brain.
Okay.
It's like a big chemical in the brain, and they're talking about doing some of that, but that makes me real nervous.
Yeah.
So instead, I take GHB at night. That I found out that GHB, it is what you think it is, yes. That is a chemical there's an active chemical in that.
You roofie yourself?
Well, no, it's a medication.
Okay.
That's extremely expensive medication. It's only for narcoleptics. And yes, you take that at night, and it tricks your brain into thinking that you're going through a sleep cycle. So you have like semi-restful sleep, and it stops like the other bad stuff, like the falling down, the cataplexy.
Wow.
That sort of thing. It still happens, but not like it did in high school. Not like 3 times a day. Now it happens like once every 3 weeks.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I shake. I'm a shaker.
What do you mean you shake?
Like I shake.
Restless leg
I don't
syndrome?
know. I've never been diagnosed, but like
I think that might be called restless leg syndrome.
I have. Yeah, I've heard that term. I just never went to a doctor and was like.
Are you a guy that never goes to doctors?
No, I mean, I had a lot of medical problems as a kid, so I was always at the doctor.
Oh.
But I'm not like. My whole thing is like, as I get older, like I have a tear in my rotator cuff, and the guy's like, "Oh, we can do surgery," and then this. I go, but it doesn't keep me up at night. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I'm not gonna do that. But like restless leg, it doesn't bother me. It just bothers the people that are in bed with me.
And you're like, I don't care that much.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll just get a new girlfriend. It's not a big deal. I'm like, this isn't gonna work out. Like, you can't accept my shaking.
Oh man, no.
It does bother people though, because I'll shake. Like, I have to like cognizantly, like I have to be like consciously aware of me not shaking right now.
I got a complaint because whenever this guy tries to cuddle with me, I try to just like I guess I just kind of like grind back, and he's just wanting to cuddle, and I can't just stay still.
Oh yeah.
So I get in trouble for that.
Oh, I've straight up like woke up humping people.
Oh, I have sexsomnia, and I've said this on the podcast before, where I literally will initiate sex in my sleep, and everyone I'm with knows that, so that they understand.
I've done that.
That's like, so that's like something that I do as well, which is weird. But
you got all the sleep things going on.
I know, I got lots of weird stuff, but it's part of who I am.
Exactly.
You deal with it.
Yeah.
You get someone that gets it, and you're like, it's okay. You could wake me up 5 times in the middle of the night for sex.
I was gonna say, like, who's gonna complain about that? You wake up and be like, oh, she wants to have sex? Great.
They usually don't. No.
No, I get that. That's awesome. Yeah, mine's a little bit more annoying because I toss around a lot, and then all of a sudden, like, I'll just shake. I'll be shaking.
Have you ever like kicked somebody in your sleep?
I've had like those night terror kind of things. Where I'm just like, I've done those before.
Yeah.
Not regularly, but like if I'm like in a very stressful state, then those will come.
I feel like what I've noticed a pattern of when people are more stressed out is when they have more sleep issues. Like overall, like.
Oh yeah.
That's just, and that's why I feel good here. Like everything's pretty laid back here overall. Yeah. Like it's just a nice vibe to just be sitting in a city.
Well, this week was a little different because I was dog sitting, and so I would go to bed at like 2, which is my normal time, and then he would be up at like 7 and just like ready to go out and eat and pee and do all that. And so like he was so by the end of the week, I was like a zombie and I was crabby because I was only getting like 5 hours of sleep a night, and I only usually get like 6 or 7, so I don't need a lot, but like it was that little dog, dude. And I love him, but it was just like, bro, I just want to sleep in.
See, my old dog was just cool with me. Like, I could sleep in real late, and she would just sleep with me.
If it was my dog, he would have been like, this is the schedule, but he was on a different, you know what I'm saying?
You have a dog?
No. Like, if any dog, I used to have a dog, and it was like on my schedule, but because I'm watching him, he's on his own schedule, and he's just like, hey, it's time to eat. This is when we eat.
Yeah, so he's dictating. You're like, you're staying in my house. I'm gonna eat now. I'm gonna bug you until you wake up.
Yeah, this is when we eat now. Yeah. You know, so it was. So last night I slept in my own bed and fell right to sleep. The other thing that's interesting is that I used to have a corporate job forever.
What'd you do?
I was in corporate sales, so I worked in sales forever, and I worked for 3 different companies before I became a full-time comedian. And I always had insomnia, like terribly. Like I would be up till like 2 a.m. and I had to get up for work at like 6:30.
Because it was stressing you out?
Because it was stressing me out. And the minute that I quit, I actually got fired from my last job, but kind of by plan, my insomnia went away. I've had maybe 2 nights of insomnia since I quit my job. Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
Insomniacs. Check your stress levels.
Do your thing, man. Whatever it is that you know you want to do, go do it, because
that's what's keeping you up at night. Oh man, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's been great. And the other rule I have is that I go to bed whenever I want. I'm a night person, so I usually don't go to bed till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And I sleep in no matter what. But now I still, because I'm trained, I'm usually up by like 8:30.
But one of the guys I'm seeing, he gets up like super early, like regularly. Like he gets up at like 7:30 and then goes for a run. Yeah, like it's a very like. There's no one in Chicago I dated that would ever even think of that. Right. Like that. Yeah, I'm gonna get up at 7:30. I'm gonna go for a run and come back. And like he gets up, he leaves, and like he just lets me sleep in for like an hour. And like I remember the first time he let me do that, I was like, dude, like. You don't know me that well. I'm not going to look through your shit, but I could be a crazy person. Why are you just letting me stay here? I mean, like, clearly it's fine, but like you shouldn't do that. Yeah. I mean, you still let me, and I'm not a nosy person. I don't go through stuff. Sure. If something's out, like if it's like on a poster, if it's like on a thing, like I will read stuff, but I don't open drawers. I don't open stuff. But I will judge people on their bookshelves for sure.
Oh yeah, you can tell a lot about a person by their books.
Oh, what's on your bookshelf?
Right now, not a lot, because when I moved to Los Angeles, I didn't bring any of my books with me, and now I have a Kindle. But like this year, I've been trying to read 1 book per month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot for me. But I've been reading a lot of self-help and like philosophy books, and and then I just read, like, for fun, I just read like a Ready Player One.
Oh, was that good? I was thinking about reading that before seeing the movie.
Yeah, the book was great, and the movie was just like, oh. And obviously there's always going to be differences between the book and the movie, but I felt like they really missed out on a couple of the themes I thought were important.
That's what happens. Some of my favorite books were adapted poorly.
Yeah.
Like Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. That wasn't adapted very well.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of humor in that one. A Long Way Down by Nick Hornby. That adaptation wasn't awesome either. It was okay. But, but those are, Do you do audiobooks too, or?
No, I just feel like, reading stimulates the brain versus listening. So I try to read more. If I'm like going on a long road trip and I'm driving a lot, then I'll just do podcasts. But right now I just, I like reading. And I got the Kindle, but I still like the physical books more.
Yeah, I like physical books more. I had 3 boxes of books, like big crates of books I gave to my parents, and it was sad. It made me sad to give away the rest of the books, too.
Yeah.
I was like, these are the 3 boxes I can't live without.
Yeah.
And then I still brought like a box or so of books here. But
yeah, and it's so weird because there's so many books in the world, and I'll reread books all the time.
Oh, but I think as you change as a person, what the book means to you will change. A good book.
Yeah.
And you'll see a different point of view.
Yeah, especially as you grow and mature. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have like a book that changed your life?
The Fifth Agreement.
Oh. By who's that by?
I don't know. It was Toltec priest in Mexico. And it originally came out as The Four Agreements, and then his son wrote a follow-up called The Fifth Agreement.
Oh, I've heard of The Four Agreements.
Yeah, so it's the same book. Yeah, so The Four Agreements, and this is just the follow-up called The Fifth Agreement. And so, The Four Agreements really kind of changed everything. I got sober 2 years ago. I quit drinking 2 years ago, and then finally I got like off weed completely a year ago.
Oh, wow.
And so, or almost a year ago. But I read that book at the same time, and it was just like kind of changed my perspective on how I like input things, if that makes sense.
How was that like to be in stand-up, around bars, around all that stuff regularly, and then become sober?
It was easy because I wanted to be done. Mm-hmm. Like, so like a lot, like, and it's kind of about how it's harder to like actually be home, like with my friends in those situations than it is to, because for clubs or whatever, I'm just at work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't want to drink at work. But, when I'm at home, it's just like, that's where, this is the bar I drank at for 20 years, or this is like, these are the people I drank with forever. And this
is all they do because it's back home. I mean, I'm not saying that, but when I go home, my town's a little bit smaller. It's like people, this is what they go and they drink, and that's their social life.
Well, it's how I explain to my friends. Like, my friends are like, are married and they have a couple kids, right? Because they're 40, and that's what most 40-year-olds have right now. Mm-hmm. I don't have that. And I'm in a bar or a comedy club 300 nights a year. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, like if I had a wife and kids, maybe I would probably still be drinking. But I knew like for me, I didn't want to like be in a bar every night drinking because I have this allergy that like as soon as I have a drop of alcohol, my brain changes and it's like, oh, just keep going until you can't anymore.
Oh, so you're like, where you drank, you just drink until you're bloated.
Yeah, because I'm an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. So, like, for me, it was just, like, drink until you can't drink anymore. You know, at no point does my brain go, hey, you've had enough. Or, hey, you got to drive. Or, hey, you got to, like, you know, it just keeps going. So, when I quit drinking, it kind of, like, I was ready. And now, when I go to a comedy show or a bar show or whatever, it doesn't really bother me because I just don't want to do it anymore.
That's good.
Oh, it's great.
That's a really good point to be at after 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
That seems like really awesome. Like, I think it's a lot harder for some people to get to that point, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've even gone to a couple weddings sober, and it's just like, they're fun. Yeah. You know, you get to enjoy it, and you remember the whole night, and you're not on a couch the next day just eating Taco Bell, you know?
So I'm guessing the first year that you were sober from alcohol, you smoked a lot of weed.
Well, yeah, and it's one of the things. So there are some people within the sober community that they call it marijuana, like, management, right? So, like, basically, it's like the lesser of two evils. I'm going to smoke weed because it's not going to kill me, right? Mm. And so... So they'll smoke weed. Now for me, I just didn't know any better, right? Like, I never had a problem with weed. I never smoked it in high school. I never smoked it in college. I didn't smoke it until I came out here because my roommate smoked, and he's like, oh, you want a hit? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then when I quit drinking, I was just like, well, I got to do something. I'm like, I might as well smoke weed. But it wasn't like I would take a hit and go to bed.
Yeah.
Or I'd take a hit and like watch TV and chill and then go to sleep. You know what I mean? So it was never like I wasn't doing crazy shit. I wasn't getting behind the wheel. I wasn't calling ex-girlfriends. I wasn't like doing all those behaviors I had. And so, but you still use it as kind of a crutch or a coping mechanism. So it prevented me from like really like doing the work in like on myself that I wanted to go through and what I needed to do, so that I wouldn't have this obsession with drinking anymore. So I quit smoking weed. You know, it's like I got into it with like my sponsor, and I was like, well, I don't have a problem with weed. He's like, then quit. I'm like, then I will. You know, he was like, okay, you know, and then I did. So, but yeah, I don't really do anything now.
You just be?
I just am.
Do you meditate or
I meditate. I journal a lot. Journaling for me is like really helped a lot, because for me, journaling, it gets it from my brain to my hand to paper. Like, I handwrite it, even though my handwriting is awful. But like, just that physical action of, because I hate handwriting so much, I try to minimize my words so I don't have to write so much.
Oh, so now you're self-editing in your head.
You're self-editing, but you also have to go, do I really want to write this? Is this something that's really bothering me, or can it just go away?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so if anybody like journals, like, don't type anymore. Like, handwrite it, because then you're going to be much more selective about the things that are bugging you, because you don't want to write it. If you're like me, like, I hate writing, you know?
My handwriting is awful. A lot of times I'll write something down just to remember it. Yeah. And then, like, I don't have to look at it again. It's just, like, handwriting helps me remember.
And I never go back and read my journals ever.
Ever?
No, I don't need to. Because I just need to get the thought onto paper. And once it's on paper, it's out of my head now.
Wow. Do you keep them, though?
Oh, yeah, I keep them. Yeah. Just in case. You know, because what helped me kind of get sober was that... because I originally quit drinking, and I say this on stage, but I originally quit drinking because I wanted to just lose weight and be healthy for a little while. And then once I quit, I realized kind of the problems I was having. So then I went back and read journals from the time I got divorced, and every journal was just like, I really need to take a break from drinking. I really need to quit drinking. I shouldn't be drinking right now. Like, I mean, it was like in a 30-day journal, whatever, I think 22 times I counted the times I was like, I really need to stop drinking. You know what I mean? And like going back and seeing that those patterns and that behavior helped me realize, like, I maybe have to take a look at this, which is what I did.
And how long have you been out here?
5 years almost.
5 years.
Yeah, next month.
What was the choice to move?
The divorce certainly played a factor, because I think essentially we got divorced because she didn't want to be married to a comedian. She wanted more of a 9-to-5 guy with some financial security. That's annoying. But well, I mean, I wasn't a comedian when we met. I mean, I was a comedian, but it wasn't like, it was a hobby. I was just doing it for fun.
And then when you're like, oh, this is really what I want to do,
it's becoming a thing. And like, it would like take every one of our weekends, because I was like traveling every weekend. I was doing stand-up every weekend. You know what I mean? And so like, I think she kind of finally realized like this is becoming a bigger thing for him, and she didn't want to be a part of it, you know. And there were obviously other issues, but once I got divorced, it was just like, I don't like my job. I was making an incredible amount of money, but I didn't care. Yeah, I didn't care. I mean, I was
money doesn't make you happy.
It doesn't. Yeah. You know, and I thought it would, but like when you're working like 60-hour weeks or 70-hour weeks, you're like, okay, I don't have time to spend it. You know what I mean? Like, I got a nice car, but who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't, like, none of it mattered. You know, I would rather like sleep in a freaking Red Roof Inn doing shows all weekend than be in some nice house. Like, and that's one of the biggest things I've learned in the last 5 years is like, I've completely minimized my life. Yeah. And there's not really much from the time I had money to the time of like kind of just being this broke comedian. There's not a lot I miss. You know what I mean? It's just stuff. It's just stuff. And it's just
stuff that's like, most of the stuff that people buy into is stuff that can distract you. Yeah. From your own life. And if you're doing something you love already, you don't need distractions. No. Like, the only reason I watch TV is to potentially research a show I might want to write a spec on, or watch a new pilot to judge it to see how I can write pilots better. Right. Like, those are like probably except for a couple shows that I do follow, like Handmaid's Tale and Game of Thrones, but like most of the time that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't even like, yeah, I go out and I do stuff.
Yeah, I'm never home.
Yeah.
I'm always out doing shows. I'm always like, and then the other kind of motivation was that when I moved to Los Angeles, I was like, I have to get out 7 days a week. Like I got out every night, and I was like, because I had given up so much, and not only just my job, but like time with my family and being close to my parents, and like so I'm like, I got to make this worth it, you know, and so it's show business is very weird because it's like there's no guidebook. There's not like, oh, if you do these 4 things, then this result will happen. It doesn't work like that. You just have to go out and get better.
Yeah, and you got to prove that you got to start over here, and that's the thing that it's hard for a lot of Chicago people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we miss the free stage time. We miss like the stage time, people knowing us and being able to do things, and that is tough, you know. And you have to start new, and nobody knows you. Nobody knows you.
Nobody cares.
Nobody. Yeah, you got to be funny enough for people to care.
Yeah.
You gotta, you gotta repeat older stuff until people realize that you're funny, and then that you do that. You just gotta show up, hang out at the Improv for 2 hours, and you don't get up. But that's just the game of it.
I tweeted that one time. I go, how do you make it in show business? I'm like, just hang out.
I've gotten a surprising number of a handful of shows from just more hanging out with people versus like actually submitting my clip, Or even 4 shows that I had submitted a clip to before. Like, oh yeah, we'll get you on the show right now. I'll book you. I was like, I didn't even mention it. That's the thing.
Right.
Don't mention that, hey, I sent you a clip a month ago. Don't do that shit.
Yeah, I produce a couple shows, and I'm like, I don't care about your clip. I don't have time to watch your clip. But if I see you at an open mic, or if I see you on another show somewhere and you crush, I'm like, yeah. And that's one of the things that like I realized as I started producing my own show is like, networking only does so much. It doesn't really do a lot.
You gotta have stuff to back it up.
You do. And if you up there, like, I don't care if I've never heard of you. If you crush and you have a good set and you got good stage presence, and like, I'm gonna find out who you are and I'm gonna get you on my show.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a guy who like bothers me 2 or 3 times a month. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Are people about 2 or 3 times a month?
Sometimes, yeah. They're out of their minds. They're crazy.
See, I usually do like a push like every. Well, now it's like probably every 2 months. I think I'm doing like a push where it's like sending shows.
Yeah.
But. It is like as...
I think it's easier to just go to the show and be like, I'd love to do your show.
That's usually... That's kind of more the old school Chicago way, I feel like. And I've done that with a couple shows, and it's been good. Like, that helps for sure. Yeah. And as somebody who runs a show as well, like, I think that helps. We have a mic right after our show, and we always book at least one spot from the mic.
Sure.
But yeah, I wish I was running... I kind of want to run a weekly show is what I'd like to do. Yeah. Because then you have your own, like, space where you can work it out.
Guaranteed time and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard to do in this town.
I know it is. A lot of it. It feels like Chicago, we didn't have, like, you don't have to meet a minimum for your bar.
Oh, yeah.
Things like that. Like, that was a little nerve-wracking the first time. Like, that was like, oh, okay, you want us to make that much money at the bar? All right, well, we're going to do it.
Right.
We have to.
Right.
I feel like Los Angeles has these different things where it's like, you have to want it more than everybody else. You have to be trying this hard. You have to reach these parameters, because if you don't, it's not for you, Right, because there's 100 other people behind you willing to do that. Yeah.
And that's the difference, is that, like, because there are so many comedians nowadays, regardless of their level of skill or experience, there's always somebody that's willing to do something that you're not, and so you just have to keep grinding away and doing those things that you...
Do you think that's really affected people's pay in comedy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a middle class in comedy right now. You know what I mean? Because I'm at that level right now where I, will headline certain rooms and feature A rooms, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, there's no pay in feature work.
Well, not in LA, yeah.
No, anywhere, really. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah. No, you're right.
Because they're not going to pay for your flight, and a lot of them are even putting you up in hotels now. Mm-hmm. They're just like, oh yeah, we don't provide that. So it's just, a lot of times they just use local features, or if you're a headliner, you don't have a lot of TV credits, like the position I'm in. Well, they're not going to pay you a lot because you're not a draw. Mm-hmm. So I just don't think. I think there's a lot of comedians right now, and I think there's definitely a comedy boom, but I don't think there's like a middle class in it right now.
What do you think needs to change for there to be one?
I don't think it will. I mean, to be honest with you, like right now, when I started like stand up a long time ago, like every club, like take a club in Milwaukee, for example. They had 1 show Thursday, 2 Friday, 3 Saturday, 1 Sunday, right? That's like 8 shows. Now, you're lucky if they do 1 show on Friday and 2 on Saturday. So now you've gone from like 8 to 3. And so, like, how are you supposed to make money off of that? Like, how are you supposed to live off of that? You can't. You know what I mean? Because the demand's not there. Because and Netflix has done a lot for comedy, but like at the same time, why go to a comedy show when I can watch 15 of the top stand-up comics in the world do an hour every year on Netflix? Yeah,
I mean that is a good point. Or people that just want to see the greats or the big names.
Yeah.
Or, and that's why.
So I think it's like almost like a 1% kind of situation where, the top comedians on the world are making 90 to 95% of the money. And guys that are kind of like up and coming and stuff like that, they're not. It's almost impossible to etch out a living.
I will challenge that the college comics I know.
Oh, tons of money.
They can make a lot of money there.
But nobody wants to do a college show.
Yeah. I mean,
Same thing with cruise work.
Kind of sell out a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you do colleges and cruises, you can make a good living.
Yeah.
But like
is your comedy going to be life-changing? Is it going to be? Yeah.
No, you're just sitting there and then you got to like talk to people on the ship. And I'll do a cruise ship. I'll do a college. You know what I'm saying? But like then the contract comes. I just did a casino recently. They're like, don't do any Trump jokes. And I'm like, I don't do any Trump jokes, but now I'm going to. You know what I'm saying? But like,
it's like
because you can't.
Comedy's like the one thing where something's in the contract and someone's like, no. I'm definitely gonna do that thing that they're telling me not to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna do all the Trump jokes now. Yeah, but like, that scares me though. You know what I mean? Because like cruises are the same way where they're like, all right, well, don't do anything offensive, don't do anything blue, blah, blah, blah. And I get that because like it's all about the customer there. But like, I just recently worked with a cruise comic and he does like 40 cruises a year. And, oh yeah. And so his whole thing was that like he can't say no to the money, And so you get caught into this world of like, I'm finally making a living and I'm paying my bills, but I'm not really doing the shows that I want to be doing or the type of comedy that I want to be doing. Yeah, so I think right now there is a comedy boom going on, but I don't think it's like a middle class. Yeah, there's a disparity. You know what I'm saying?
Or they're the people the writer comics that are getting writing jobs but not doing stand up as much, or did or use that,
and that's okay. That's your career path. Mm-hmm. But like when I let's say like I feature at an improv or any club really for the weekend. And I'm working with like a guy like Bert Kreischer, right? Mm-hmm. Bert's gonna make $20 or $30 that weekend. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna make like $400 or $500.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And Bert deserves to make that amount of money because he's the one that's filling every seat in that venue. But like, how do I make a living off of $400 a weekend?
Well, how many people are at the show?
Oh, I mean, they'll do 7 shows.
Can you sell merch?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing. You can sell merch, but then like and this is nothing. I have nothing against Bert. He didn't say I didn't have any merch, but the headliner has the option to say you can't sell merch, or But like my buddy opened for Dave Coulier from Full House, and the only reason he was able to do it was because of merch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because there's 1,000 other comedians that will take that weekend for that money, I don't have any pull. And that's why that's when they talk about, have you made it in show business? I think making it in show business is just the ability to pay your bills. That's making it. And
I think that it's also these parameters of like, I see so many auditions that are like, looking for someone with a big following. Like, you have like a big Instagram or whatever following, and that's why you see like...
That just tells me your TV show is weak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't believe in your TV show, if you don't, or your project or whatever it is,
or your web series,
like that just means that like you don't think you've got what it takes to like put on a good show.
Yeah, I mean, it should be about the talent versus like the following. Yeah, right. I guess a following is helpful, but like you shouldn't. I mean, and people get booked on shows for it all the time here.
Well, the one girl from Game of Thrones, the redhead, who plays Sansa, she said that the only reason she got the part was because of her following.
She had a following?
Yeah, because she had a following. And I'm like, if that's true, like, how much confidence did HBO have in her, in their show, that they're like, we would rather have somebody with a bigger following?
But, to be fair, I do know that Game of Thrones shot a pilot and completely reshot it. They spent like lots of money on this pilot, but it was like, they recast Cersei and they recast a couple of people, so they had the opportunity to recast her. So but she like rose to the occasion.
She does well.
Yeah, she's really great.
Yeah.
Sophie Turner, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah. One of the shows I do follow. But yeah, I know that they completely bombed the pilot of that apparently, and they had to completely reshoot it.
Yeah.
So.
It's interesting, though. I mean, and then a lot of clubs right now are like, look, the purpose of the club is to make money and to fill seats. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, a lot of comedians will complain, like, oh, this YouTube star, this Vine star, or whatever. But, like, they're filling seats, Mm-hmm. And so, like, but then you'll also notice that a lot of comedy clubs aren't calling themselves comedy clubs anymore. Mm-hmm. They'll be like a venue, or they'll be like, an entertainment thing or something like that. So...
Yeah, I mean, just because they're trying to adapt versus just, like, have what happened in the 90s, early 2000s, just a bunch of clubs shutting down.
Right.
And I feel like,
I mean, they're just trying to survive, too. They're just trying to pay their bills.
Yeah. And I feel like LA isn't, like, a city where there is a lot of people that go out to see shows as much, because it's all about the movies here.
Yeah, I mean, and plus it's a showcase town, right? Mm-hmm. So you have, like... 8 comics on every show, mm-hmm. So I do a show at the Improv once a month called Long Hard Sets, where it's just like 4 to 5 comics that are doing like 20 minutes each.
That's great.
Yeah, so that they can do their longer sets and like, work stuff out,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it is like tougher to get those longer sets in.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely is out here.
So you host the Improv mic a lot. And
I host Lab Work every Sunday.
Yeah. And what advice do you have for people that, like, go to that or are trying to get in that and do that?
So here's my advice. If you're going to do an open mic at a club at the Improv, like, I host Lab Work every Sunday, like, do your best 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, crush every single time. Treat it as, like, an audition, even if you think that there's nobody watching, because there's always somebody watching. Like, the reason I'm at where I'm at, if I'm anywhere in LA, is because the bartenders, the sound guy, the servers, they've all been talking to their management and bookers and been like, oh, Ken had a really good set. Like, people talk. There's so much talk in this town around who's doing well and who crushed and who killed, that when I see comics come to, like, Lab Work on Sundays and they're only going to perform 3 minutes, first of all, have 3 minutes. Don't bring your notebook on stage, and don't take it for granted. Like, stage time in Los Angeles is such a huge commodity. Like, don't mess it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to, like, try out some new stuff, go to a coffee house and try it. Like, go to, like, that wine mic or whatever. Yeah, go to like an actual open mic, but like always be cognizant of, like, where you're at. Like, if I'm at potluck at the Comedy Store, I'm going to try and crush every single time. Like, if I'm at the Improv, I did an Improv open mic on Tuesday, and I looked in the back of the room, and the GM of the Improv is there. Mm-hmm. Like, she can pick up the phone tomorrow and help you get management or get you a showcase or do all these things. So, like, don't go up there and be like, oh, this, like, I saw somebody go like, oh, Aretha Franklin died. I'm like, this joke's not ready. I know it's topical, and you can talk about whatever you want, but it's not ready. Like, she literally just died.
Yeah.
Like, that day. Like, how did you possibly come up with a joke that's worthy of the best comedy club in the country? And I know there's tons of comedians out there that would totally disagree with me, because they're like, well, just write on stage and write what you know, and, like, all these things. But, like, as far as being a working professional comedian, you crush every single time you have the opportunity to.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to, there's 100 other people that are waiting to crush right behind you.
Yeah. I would say my biggest pet peeve of people at mics or at, like, a show mic, and then one of the things they say is, I don't know what else I was going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Or, I don't know what else to say. Instead of, honestly, it's fine. If you do 2 minutes and you're doing well and you're just like, I want to give time back to the room, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it drives me nuts when they spend, like, 30 seconds trying to figure out what they're going to say. And I'm like, I wish I could have that 30 seconds.
And I was dating this girl, and she grew up in a comedy club. Like, her family owned a comedy club.
Oh.
And when we
probably had a lot of stories.
And she said, look, build a 3-minute set and a 4-minute mm-hmm. set and a 5-minute set and a 6-minute set, and these are your sets. Mm-hmm. And when you go out and you're like, okay, how long is this mic? It's 4 minutes. You go down and like, great, here's my 4-minute set. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just, like, again, view this as a profession and treat it as like, all right, I'm going to come in and do a 4-minute set, and these are the jokes that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And go out and crush that 4 minutes. You know, it's like, I want to use like an analogy, but it's like the doctor coming in and being like, just looking at you without testing anything, like, yeah, you're good. I'm like, but I have all these symptoms, like, you're fine. Like, do your job. Your job is to go in there and crush for 4 minutes, then crush for 4 minutes. You know? And if you're not ready, then don't do that. I see a lot of people that are like, not ready to go and showcase themselves in that setting. And that's okay. Just go hang out and...
I mean, when I was in Chicago, I waited a while before I went to the Laugh Factory mic. I waited like a year until I went to Kohl's.
Right.
Because I knew that people watched that one. That was
I still won't do Kohl's. I've been doing this for 15 years.
You still don't do Kohl's?
I still won't do Kohl's. That's not my room. I'm like PBR and hoodies and, you know, Ken Garr's here. Like, ugh, you know. And I love those guys. They're great, but they don't want to see me.
That's funny. Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Yeah, my whole thought about just coming to LA is just like knowing that nobody owes you anything and you just gotta be funny and work hard and eventually people will start to take notice.
My first show, I had to follow Damon Wayans and the MC had been on The Tonight Show twice. And I was like, what did I get myself into? You know what I mean?
Where
like
was that?
At Flapper's Yoo-Hoo Room. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he did a drop in and I had to, you know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting there going like, what did I do? Like, you know what I mean? Because you're like, you know, in Chicago, you can reach a ceiling, and it takes a while. But like, you know, it's just like everything else. You do it long enough, and all of a sudden, but like, I had accomplished what I wanted to accomplish there, and I'm like, and I gotta go. But you have to come out here, and like, nobody cares that you were the top dog in some city. Nobody cares, dude. Yeah. Like, unless you've got like tons of TV credits, and you know, like Pete Lee just moved out here. Pete Lee's been on the Tonight Show a couple of times. He's passed at all the clubs in New York, and he's just like, you know where I can get some stage time? Right? Oh, wow. And he's going to do fine because Pete's great, but like, but still, it'll
still take a while for people to notice.
Right.
Dude,
I have 2 syllables in my name, Ken Garr, and people are like, Ken Garr, like, come on, guys.
My name is spelled very easily, Albritton, easy to pronounce. Some of you are like, Albritton.
I screwed it up, yeah.
No, it's not a big deal. Like, by the way, that was not, I totally forgot that you had screwed it up. That was not a backhanded way of me saying it.
That was the whole purpose of the podcast.
The whole reason I asked you, Ken, is to make you feel guilty about breaking.
I'm going to make amends. I want you to come on here and personally apologize to you in your bed on video.
You have no how many times people have apologized to me in bed.
Yeah. I apologize to every girl in bed. I'm so sorry you have to be here. I'm so sorry I charmed you into here. This will be over very quickly.
You apologize before it's even happened. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not going to be that good. Just look away for 2 minutes and we'll be done.
2 minutes? Good Lord. If we could just lower the bar on the expectations, that'd be amazing.
I think expectations are super important for how you enjoy life. Like, if you stop having expectations, you're going to be a lot happier.
Oh, yeah.
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 Or if you stop comparing yourself or thinking, I think I'm finally realizing the difference between goals and expectations.
Yes.
And I think it's good to have those goals, but don't make it such an important thing. Like, I have to reach this by this point. I have to have a late night set by the time I'm X amount of years in, or I've got to do this by this. It's not...
Right. It's not... So, like, when you write your goals, like, obviously make them achievable, but, like, it's not up to you whether or not you're on The Tonight Show. Mm-hmm. It's up to the booker of The Tonight Show. But the thing that you can control is you can build a set that is worthy of being on The Tonight Show. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference in that.
And maybe you won't get on The Tonight Show, but maybe you'll get on Seth Meyers or Conan or something else.
Absolutely.
You know?
And so, like, when you make your goals, like, make it, like, about the work itself. Mm-hmm. Like I'm only in charge of, like, the work that I can do. There are other variables and factors. Like, if I didn't get into a comedy festival recently, and I'm just like, all right, well, I didn't give them the right tape. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if I decide to do it next year, I'll give them a better tape or do different jokes or whatever. Yeah. But I didn't take it personally. I'm just like, all right, well, they're just looking for something else, or they had enough of my type of comedy.
Yeah, they had enough bearded white guys.
Yeah. I'm very unique. I'm still a little snowflake, wallflower. All right, cool. I talk for a living.
Do you how much, because I know you journal every day, you say, do you how much writing do you do for your stand-up?
For writing for stand-up, that's That's a great question. I very much for a long time was like, when I'm inspired, or I had insomnia, as I shared earlier. So I would get up and I would write during insomnia. I'm getting better in regards to being more disciplined about sitting down and writing now. Mm-hmm. And, Tom Dreesen, who, Tom.
I went to a couple talks that he had in Chicago.
At the Laugh Factory. Yeah. I went to the same thing.
Oh, really?
And he was nice enough to have lunch with me when I first moved out here. And he said to me, he's like, there's two types of people. There's writers who perform and there's performers who write. And I'm a performer who writes. Like, for me to sit down and be like, I'm going to write. This is going to be amazing. Like, I'm not like that. Whereas a lot of writers are. They love crafting jokes. For me, I love being on stage and kind of figuring it out. But to answer your question, I try to write for a minimum of a half hour every day outside of journaling, because like, it's like going to practice for football players. Like, Sunday is a game day, but like for us, writing every day it's a very difficult task, because if you're just not feeling inspired that day, you're not feeling funny, something funny didn't happen, then all of a sudden you're just like, what am I writing right now? I don't even know. But a lot of comics will be like, I just write when it inspires me, or if it's, something like that. It's like, I was like that forever, and like my career was not going where I wanted it to go. And the only thing I can control is how much writing I do and how much I can like work on my jokes. Because that's really essentially what we're supposed to be doing, is just working on jokes. Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we also talk a little bit about relationships in this. Are you single right now? Are you dating? Are you in a thing that you can't define because it might be awkward? What's the deal?
I am in a committed monogamous relationship.
Oh, wow.
And I'm in a committed monogamous long distance relationship.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's hard.
It's great.
It is?
I encourage everybody to get into a long distance relationship.
Why?
I was so well, first of all, find the right person, right? Find the right partner. Find a partner that is like independent and like doesn't need constant reassurance and validation in the relationship. She lives in Chicago. We've known each other for 6 years. We were friends. We dated very briefly when we first met, and we were like, oh, we're not ready for this. And then we became ready. The long distance thing is nice because it forced us to take things very slow. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of those guys, I'm like, this is an amazing first date. You should move in with me right now. Like, I'll go get your stuff.
You're one of those guys?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I'm a serial dater.
I recently dated one. Yeah, but some people are so fast with that stuff that it like freaks. Like that stuff is like what makes me run.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Makes normal people run. But I have since then fixed that.
I mean, I'm not saying it's just
yeah.
Like that is like. Oh, I remember I had been seeing this guy for like a few days, and I was like, I had gotten some screeners from like, because someone was giving screeners downstairs,
Yeah.
And I was like, I brought some over because I don't have a DVD player, and he's like, oh, I have an old Xbox you can just have if you want. And
that's a lot. Yeah.
I didn't take it,
right?
Because I would have been like, well, but that was still like,
yeah.
It was like that's not a normal thing to say,
Yeah, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like I think the point I'm trying to make is I would rush into relationships, and I would get comfortable very easily. Get comfortable very easily.
Yeah.
So for now, like long distance has forced me to kind of just like take things slow. We're not staying over every night. We're not like talking and texting all day and like all that shit. Now it's just
I don't do the talking and texting all day. I let people know that from the beginning.
Me neither. Yeah.
I am not how's your day texting thing.
Yeah.
It's text to make plans, text to ask important questions. Other than that, either see me in person or talk to me on the phone.
Yeah. I think we have a little bit more communication just because it is long distance.
Yeah.
We'll FaceTime.
We couldn't do that, Sarah. Yeah. We gotta take care of our own individual needs.
I mail her letters. No, I'm kidding.
Do you?
No.
Oh, that's actually sweet. Like if I got physical mailed letters, like if it's somebody I liked. That's the thing I'm realizing. The difference between the sweet and creepy is whether you actually like the person.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's like a lot of like they talk about the difference between like is like the difference is like between Brad Pitt and Steve Buscemi, right? Like if it's Steve Buscemi acting like this, like you're a fucking creep. If it's Brad Pitt, you're like, oh my god, he's into me.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I am in a great relationship now because we were forced to kind of like slow things down and not like rush into anything.
Well, that's good.
People tend to do.
That's good to hear. Like that's awesome.
So we've been together since Christmas.
Okay, that's a while.
And yeah, things are going great. And also, like, because I've done a lot of work on myself in regards to like sobriety and like looking at relationships and stuff in the past, and have done a lot of reading about it, like I was very self-aware of like red flags, and I was just like making sure like there wasn't like crazy stuff going on, because everybody, like, nobody's perfect. We all have our flaws and defects, but like I tended to date very like emotionally unavailable girls, or like because I didn't want to, like, you know, like when it would end, I'd be like, see, they're fucked up. You know what I mean? I knew it.
But you were purposely dating those people because, like, deep down you wanted to be self-destructive or something.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like I got divorced 6 years ago, and I don't think I had stopped dating or had been involved with somebody the entire time.
Oh, wow.
I never took any time off, because as like a divorced man, you have to go and like repair your ego. Because how dare she leave? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm the greatest guy in the world. Why would you possibly want to go anywhere else? You know, and so you have to like repair it. And unfortunately, unless you take that time off after you get divorced, or even a major breakup, like, take time off.
I was in a long relationship, and I haven't been in a relationship since. And it's been like, we were like 5 years.
Yeah.
And we went through our college a little bit after, and then that ended, and I haven't been in a thing. So afraid of commitment, I've called it a thing, but but it's like I haven't been in something like that since then.
Right.
And there've been a couple close people that I thought about maybe, but then I had the excuse of like, I'm moving to LA, can't.
Yeah, which is like, insert excuse here. Even with this girl now, she's perfect, and I'm like, you know, well, this is, you know, I'm like trying to like poke holes in it, but it's just
You're
like
trying to wait for the shoe to drop,
right? Because it's like, well, I mean, she'll eventually leave. Like I'm like I said one time, like 100% of my relationships have ended.
So, well, they're always gonna end.
Right, exactly.
Someone's gonna die.
Right.
You're not gonna have a notebook ending unless. Oh my gosh! If eventually.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
she got Alzheimer's, and I got to redo her every day. That'd be so great.
You just keep making yourself better and better in the story. So she falls more in love with you.
And then the first time you saw my big dick, it was just like what story is this? It was so huge. Like, what?
Yeah, dicks are usually an inch long. You got the really big one.
Yeah. She's like, well, I guess I'll go along with this.
No, but what if, I mean, eventually, if they make euthanasia, like, more legal, like, if people get old, they just want to die together, like, that'll probably be a service people will, like make money off of it at some point.
Sounds like the most codependent relationship ever. Now, we agreed, right? We're both going to die. Like,
maybe I'm just thinking of a funny sketch.
Yeah. That'd be so funny if he's just like, we're both going to die. And then all of a sudden he's like, I don't want to do this. He's like, but I don't want to, like, disappoint her.
Do we do this? Do we not? Like, are we sure? It's like getting a tattoo together.
Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. That's why I don't have any. I can't.
I can't have something in my body for the rest of my life. Like, I'm like,
oh, no.
That's too, I change my mind too much. This is why I can't be in a relationship. I'm like, 1 week I'm like, oh, I really like this guy. And the next week I'm like, he's kind of boring me. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, this is why I have to be able to date. So
Are you afraid of commitment then? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think I can definitively say that I'm afraid of commitment.
Okay.
I'm more...
Because the guy you dated for 5 years, because you don't want to get hurt again like that, or what?
That, and then also because when I was in that long relationship, my things that were important to me fell by the wayside. The relationship became the most important thing. And right now I'm too focused on comedy and writing the things I'm doing that nothing is going to come before that. Even if I met the love of my life, I don't care. Comedy's going to come first.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be really fucking selfish right now. I'm not going to be a good person to be in a relationship right now because I am very focused on me. And I'm letting people know that.
Sure. Yeah, but that's the difference.
I let people know that. And then but they still think that they can change me.
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll be like, well, I should have known. You said that from the beginning. I was like, yeah. You should have known. I told you I was kind of selfish. I mean, I'm a good person. I'm a good enough person to know that I'm selfish to tell people that, hey, I'm going to be selfish right now.
Yeah. But I think that's important because I remember sitting at a dinner with my ex-wife, like, before we got married, and being like, I'm never going to be a full-time comedian. Like, I don't want that life. I'm never going to have that life. And she took that to the bank. You know what I mean? And so, like, and I didn't stick to that because I wasn't being honest with myself. I mean, at the end of the day, like, who knows what you're going to do? Like, and we talked about this earlier. Like, you can't really plan anything. You just got to go with the flow. But now I'm much more open and honest about, like, I told my girlfriend now, I'm like, I'm never coming back to Chicago. Like, if you want to, like, come out here, you can come out here. But I'm like, but also don't chase a boy. Like,
don't come out here just
because that won't work either. Like, come to LA because you want to live in LA.
Then because there's so many relationships I know that's like someone moved across the country and then they broke up like a couple months
later. I did, yeah. I mean, I came out here with a girl and 9 months into it, she's like, fuck this place, I'm going home.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, it was just not what she wanted to do. And I didn't blame her, but it was just like, because it was my dream, not hers. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people get in this like, I don't know, they just kind of live in fantasy mode where they're just like, it's going to be great. We're like, they all like, no, it's really hard and traffic sucks and it's expensive and there's hard to find a job. And it's like, I'm gone all the time. And like what I'm trying to do now with my current girlfriend is just like paint the picture of like, because when we don't see each
expectations.
Yeah. Because if you don't see each other for like 3 or 4 weeks, it's like rainbows and unicorns. Like this is amazing. But like, when you move to Los Angeles, like, I need you to know, like, this is my schedule every day. Like, you know what I mean? This is when we're going to be able to hang out. And this is when we get, like, and that sounds so unromantic, but it's like, I'd rather just them know the truth and the facts than come out here with some, like, pie in the sky kind of, like, fantasy.
Yeah.
Because we are selfish people. Like,
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. As long as, I think it's okay that, as long as you know that, and I don't know, like, I even tell people that, but I sometimes, like, sometimes I do make a couple concessions, but it's not bad. It's like I worked last night. I got up at 11. I probably could have gone to a mic, but instead I went over to a guy's house,
Yeah.
But...
Oh, dude, I missed a chance to meet Paul McCartney to go sleep with a girl.
But it is a different thing when you realize that it is more important.
It is. Mm-hmm. I think Patrice O'Neal said it. He's like, I told this girl I'm dating, he's like, it's comedy, and then God, and then my mama, and then you. Like, that's the order in our life, And, it's difficult, but you can manage both. I mean, you really can.
Yeah.
You can make time for relationships, and you can make time for comedy, and have a really well-balanced, like, life.
It's good to know that it can happen. I'm not sure if it's something I want right now.
Oh, yeah, you're just not, it's not where you're at.
Yeah. But, and I feel bad, because it's like, I know someone is, like, gonna think like in 6 months I'm gonna change my mind, and maybe I will, but probably not.
Yeah.
Anyways, but who knows? But as we're winding down the podcast, I always ask people, because we talked about sleep a little bit earlier and your weird sleep kicking stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have any dreams or goals for your future?
Like actual dreams, or do I have goals? Like what I want to accomplish?
Like dreams for your career, future, whatever.
I will say this here for the first time ever, but I want to host Wheel of Fortune.
You want to host? That is one I have not gotten. I kind of love this answer.
I want to be the host of Wheel of Fortune, because Pat Sajak can't live forever. It's the most secure job in show business. The guy's been doing it for like 30-something years. And I can and they tape like 3 days a week for 4 hours a day or something like that. And then you can go off and do stand-up and do whatever else you want. And you have a built-in fan base. So I've like, this is my secret. I'm sharing it with you people. But like, I want to be the host of Wheel of Fortune.
That's fucking great. It's not a secret anymore.
It's out there.
Man.
So now I can make it, part of my vision or whatever. It can happen. So everybody listening, make sure it happens for me. Like, imagine it for me. But think about it. Like, it's the best job.
It's a built-in audience.
Built-in audience, financial security, well-known brand. Yeah. Go do stand-up.
But do you think that they would dictate what kind of stand-up you could do?
If they're going to pay me what they're paying Drew Carey to do the Price is Right, then they can dictate whatever they want.
Do you know how much he's getting paid for that? I have no idea.
Just an insane amount. I don't know the exact amount, but he told them 3 times, I don't want to do your show, and they finally paid him a number that he couldn't say no to.
Whoa.
So that's, yeah.
They must have really been like, Drew Carey, we've done a lot of tests on Drew Carey, everybody likes him.
That's exactly it. So, yeah. Awesome. I mean, I but I also see a lot of, you see Bob Saget. Mm-hmm. The guy hosted America's Funniest Home Videos. He's the filthiest comic in the world.
And he's still doing the Full House remake. Yeah,
right, he's still filthy, so you can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope you get to host. That's such a specific
You can
goal.
be my Vanna.
I hope you get to host Wheel of Fortune. As long as Vanna can, like, dish it back, I don't mind, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That could be a whole different bantery kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you wait, what changes would you make to Wheel of Fortune if you could...
I would probably get rid of the Vanna character. We don't need a woman, like, touching tiles. Like, the technology exists that... Yeah, I would rather have her as a co-host than, Vanna, could you go ahead and touch that lighted tile that you don't need to touch anymore?
Exactly.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that.
And then if she just, like, gives you shit back and she's like... You're like, oh, yeah, like, you need help with that.
Right, exactly. Like, that's so funny.
Giving you shit for, like, I don't know, like, not shaving or whatever you pick your character thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
Wearing the same 3 shirt 3 days in a row. It's the same day. We're filming the same day.
Yeah. Oh, shit, that's so funny. Like, it's the brown suit. Again. Change it. That's my dream.
Well, that's a very cool dream. I hope you get to do that.
Thanks so much.
And then someday I'm going to show this and be like, see? He always wanted to do this.
Made it happen. I made it happen.
Thanks so much for doing the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We always end by saying good night. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to Sleeping with Sarah, where I slept with Ken Garr. Be sure to check out Ken's podcast, That's Fucked Up, on iTunes, and follow him on Instagram and Twitter at Ken Garr Was Taken. If you like the podcast, please rate and review on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Play. We're brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. I'm releasing a new podcast each week, so please tune in to find out who I have in bed with me next. Thanks to Josh Bryant for the music, and if you want to find out more, please go to sarahalbritton.com and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at sarahalbritton. Until next time, good night.
Sleeping with Sarah.